Overall, that transition from being in-house to running a production company is such a wild experience. I think a lot of people are really scared to do it, but they really want it. They want that freedom. I will say absolutely the grass is always greener on the other side, or the grass is greener where you water it. Like, I don't want to be preachy, and I think Mike's worried he would have to be preachy, and it would be more like, dude, my bracelet's gonna...
Don't worry about it. I used to have a thing on, and it doesn't matter. But no, that's a great point, actually, because I've reached out to a few people who are like, oh, no, I don't have, like, they probably do. They think they need to be authoritative and, like, teach and give advice. And it's like, this is literally just documenting where it started for you and where it went and your experiences along the way, which is, I think, the coolest part is people relate to it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's definitely intimidating if it's like, I listened to Parker's episode and I'm like, he's had a lot more success than I have in the industry.
Me freaking interviewing.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, this is like even interviewing Devin and interviewing Mitch at Film Lab, and these, like, a lot of them have just a bigger following on Instagram, and there's a little bit of like, ooh, you're not better, but like you're elevated. People know you. So yeah, Parker was by far the most intimidating one to interview.
More than Devin? I guess Devin, you worked.
No, me and Devin are just
knew Devin.
Yeah, like we worked together for years. Parker I only worked with like twice. So anyway, we're rolling.
Cool.
Bryson, welcome to the podcast. It's official. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Have a drink, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Get ready. That's the last one you're going to have for the next 2 hours.
Vodka, actually.
Is it what?
It's straight vodka, actually.
Good, because that's who we're sponsored by.
Get me settled.
How many wives? 5 wives.
5 wives.
So, welcome. Thanks for coming out. I'm excited to hear the specifics of where you're at, but you and I have some history, man.
Yeah, we do.
We go way back to the beginning, both of us, high school. And you were cooler than me because you were older. You were more experienced. You were the guys I looked up to, your group of like that generation of like, man, I hope I'm as good as those guys one day. So I hope you believe that in yourself and that you were who I looked up to.
Cool.
Anything you want to say about it?
Well, it's funny because, we went to Lehigh High School together, and I was probably a TA for one of your classes. But then I went on a mission though. Yeah. So for 2 years, I was gone, and I came back, and I remember, this was one of my memories. I was telling you, I was thinking of some memories. We were on a softball team together. Do you remember that?
Yeah, with the whole group.
Like Mike Gardner, I think Josh Swinson was on that.
Derek, Clint, all those guys. Yeah,
and I was, and you,
dude, I forgot about that because we hadn't talked obviously in a while.
Yeah, I think that was the first time we like really caught up.
Yeah.
And anyway, like before coming on this, it was kind of, I was telling you before, like this whole like memory recall of like what my journey has actually been.
Yeah.
I specifically remember you had a Canon 7D.
Yeah, still have it.
7D.
That's my first camera.
And you had a 16-35. And I remember you were there and you were saying, I like this lens, like, but it doesn't look as good as I kind of imagined it would.
Yeah. Did you know?
Because you didn't know the difference at the time between crop sensor and full.
No. Did you try to explain it to me? And I was like, bro, I don't get it.
If I did, I was being arrogant. I probably didn't want to say anything.
You're probably
nice.
Young Padawan.
But
you little brothered me.
But that's the thing though, is that was the moment for me. I shouldn't say like the moment, but that was kind of the like, oh, he's serious about video.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, I didn't look down on you at all.
Like he's actually going to do this and not like fade out like I think a lot of people may have done when they like took the classes and it's like, this is fun, but then went different directions. Yeah. And that's what was cool about you too, is like there's a few people that came out of high school that continued to pursue it, and some people didn't. And I think it's fun to reconnect with people that did keep going. And but back to that whole like 7D 16-35, I had no idea, man. I was like, I just want that Devin Supertramp look. And then I rented a 5D Mark II from my school, put my 16 on there, and it was like,
you're like, oh, that's it. That's the look I was going for.
That's how he does it. So thanks for just putting me down easy and not making me feel like an idiot. You may have kicked me out of the industry if you did. So good thing.
Well, yeah. But this was the other thought that I had going down that path is you were still making cool stuff, not even understanding the difference between the crop sensor and the full frame sensor. And I was like, well, I know the difference, and my stuff doesn't look as good as his.
The glide cam. I was getting good with the glide cam, but
had glide cam for a while.
Thanks for saying that, because I think that just doing it, right? I remember the first time I got a DSLR, I used my DSLR, I was shooting a UVU baseball game, and I couldn't figure out how to make it brighter. I was like, what are these 3 dials? I didn't understand aperture, ISO, or shutter speed, and how they all work together. I had a Sony EX3. Do you remember those? Like broadcast
ones.
And it was on auto. Dude, anyway, there's a lot of learning, but like you said, it's just about doing it and making sure that you keep going, and eventually you figure things out. Because I wouldn't have figured that out. Like, you could have probably told me, and I'd been like, what are you talking about? But then you do it, figure it out. So cool. Well, we've caught up quite a bit. I want you to hear about who you are, what you do, what your career is up to these days. And we can jump straight into the fact that you rented my studio and I painted it red for you.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in a minute. But tell me about yourself. Who are you? What do you do in the film industry?
All right. I'm Bryson. Married with 3 kids.
Heck yeah.
From Utah. Grew up mostly in Lehigh. Lived out in Eagle Mountain for a long time. Now started video in high school, and here I am.
What do you do, like, specifically at this time?
So through the different jobs that I had, I kind of got into the tech industry.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work that I do is in the tech industry. And this, the backstory on this is going to be excessive, but
that's why we're here.
So I do motion design is one of the channels that I really focus on.
Cool.
Which I do shoot a lot of stuff, and I do create a lot of videos for these clients. But on the other side of it, I produce for bigger budget productions. And I don't know, it's weird that I ended up here, but that's kind of right now, that's my balance right now, is producing larger productions and really small shoots and motion design is where I spend most of my time.
So when you're producing when you were here the second time, you were shooting, I imagine you're probably editing too, but you also produced, you hired me to gaff.
Yep.
Is that typical for you? You're a one-man band, you're kind of doing it all from production to edit?
Yeah, and that it's hard to
Sometimes
not. It's hard to not be
you did have a big crew here.
Yeah.
At one point.
Well, and it's hard to not be almost a little embarrassed sometimes that I'm taking on a shoot myself, and I'm shooting it, editing it, handling everything with the client. Oftentimes doing the graphic design, then the motion design.
It's embarrassing, dude.
Yeah, but
you get all the money.
it does feel like there's a lot of pressure in the industry.
Yeah.
To create big things and to create really, really cool things.
Yeah.
But and I don't know, not to downplay any of my clients or any of the work that I do, but being making the coolest or the prettiest or the most exciting work has never been my focus.
Really?
And I think that's where I've built such a good niche for myself, is effective is my goal more than anything. So oftentimes it's I don't even share my work.
Yeah.
But I know the client got results from what I made.
That's a cool perspective. I think I can relate to that quite a bit. I did work for Supertramp, so that was the aesthetic, be artsy and make it look cool. But truly, my career has changed into the performance, and it's more about what works. Dude, the stuff we produce now is not good, but it drives a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
And so I think similar to you, I think that's super cool. But there is this pressure to do something beyond yourself, but at the same time, there's the it's the stress, the grass is always greener on the other side. It would be great for me to just be I just want to freaking just to have smaller productions, make more of the money, versus having a team and making less money. But if you can get it to a point that it takes a lot of work to where you're not doing as much work, but you're also able to make money, that's cool. But it's what do you want? A lot of work, kind of grinding, not seeing your family as much, or just be in control of your life more, which sounds like when we've talked, you control your schedule. You're you got projects, and then you can take time off whenever you want.
Yeah.
So is that still the case?
Yeah. And I do fall into the trap sometimes where I don't want gaps in my schedule.
Yeah.
And then sometimes that bites me in the butt. You know what I mean? Where I'm last week I had pulled a 16-hour day.
Yeah.
Because 2 clients had a project due that day, and it was too late in the game for me to like outsource anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, well,
you gotta do it.
All right, wife, kids, love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
From 8 a.m. to like midnight.
I've had those conversations so many times. They're just like, they just get to a point where that's the life. They understand Dad's got to grind.
Yeah.
And I still do it because we'll get new clients. It's like, I got to freaking build out this new system for these clients. But
yeah,
I hear that, man. I think a lot of people can relate to that too. And it's kind of like, you know, you say there's pressure to do something different when really you're looking at that grass that's greener. And if you were over here, you'd probably think this. It's like, you know, we always want what we don't have. And most important thing I think is to just try different things. And if you like things and don't, I think Haley can relate. My sister over here, she has been trying to build her business and trying to train people, right? Like, is probably the most annoying, hardest thing is to get people to your standards. And that's the hardest part about running an agency.
Yeah.
So if you want quality, that's tough. But if you're more performance based, you can build systems around that.
Yeah.
So,
which I need to do. Systems is I know I got to build them, and
I can help you.
That's next step for me is like getting those systems in place. What's hard for me is that, and I don't know how much you feel this, but as soon as I start getting like really systems focused and I start outsourcing a lot of the work, I go, oh, I want to do the work though. Like,
see, that's
I want the money and I want to do the work.
Yeah.
And there is a path to do a lot of but it's almost like you have to step away to build your systems to then come back and insert yourself where you want to be. And I'm kind of more in the balancing that, like hoarding all the work that I can possibly get because I like to do it. Plus I want the money versus hiring it out so that I can take on more, you know?
Yeah, dude, that is like, I think every person can absolutely relate. It's like, I want to build a team, but then I also want to create. I got into this to create, and now I'm a manager.
Yep.
In my case, it was like, I did it just because I always had this like thought I should build a business, build something beyond myself, get to a point where I can pick and choose what I want to work on. But you end up doing what you said. Fortunately for me, I got sick and tired of filming and editing. Like even today, I was DPing for a project, and it's the fact that I have to be somewhere at a certain time that drove me nuts.
Okay.
I think I've had a little bit of that over the last few years of like, I can kind of come and go when I want. And there's those days almost once a week where it's like, I got to be there. And I don't like that.
And you don't like that.
I hate it.
Okay.
I don't like people relying on me as like that anymore. It's like, I want to just kind of show up. I want to be bougie. I want to be, you know, where are my grapes and my fan? I'm just kidding. But no. Anyway, we can talk about this for forever. Just as like, what's the best route for filmmakers to go? And right now your route is doing what you're doing, which is producing and mostly doing overseeing all the other stuff that comes along with that. And then like what kind of, when you say you work in the tech, like what kind of companies and content are you creating right now for these guys? Like a lot of talking head, or what kind of stuff? I started at Podium, the tech company based out of Lehigh. Yeah. Man, let's see. I left there like 4 years ago, and I worked there for like 4 years. So I don't know, 2016, 2017, I started there, and I'd never worked in tech before. I didn't really understand it, and tech's really interesting because, again, it's not necessarily the sexiest work that needs to be done. And learning how to do, especially on the animation side, learning how to work with software is weird because you don't have a cool product, a physical product to show. So it is a lot of graphic animations.
Yeah, so you have to do a lot of graphic animations, but also it's not an industry, like a lot of the work I do is B2B. So a business is selling their software to another business. So they're not, like flashy isn't really the branding that these companies have.
Yeah.
So I'm not really shooting much lifestyle. Most of what I'm doing is either like, so at Podium, like a typical range of products would be a product announcement of like a new product we worked on, or, you know, something like this where I'd go on site with a customer who was using the product. So this is like a customer story, a little like a testimonial.
Yeah.
So we're in, where were we? Somewhere in New York.
Customer meaning it's a business, a guy that owns
Yeah.
a business.
So this is an insurance company.
Yeah.
So we go to his business, and we show off his space, and we ask him and his team, well, what do you like about what do you like about Podium? What works for you? What doesn't work for you? And anyway, so the different assets, we're creating customer stories. We're creating like a product explainer, which is like maybe a little bit more like hypey, but sometimes it's very much like this is the functionality of the product that's going to work for you. And then other times it's a straight up like onboarding video where it's like, to get started, log in, you click here, and you're going to enter this info here. And this panel is where you're going to be able to do this. And in this panel, you can do this. So I got into that. And then kind of, I've always done freelance all through, ever since, I was, 22, I'm doing freelance. So while I'm at Podium, I'm like, well, still like freelance. I like the extra money. Pay for video is honestly not that great in-house in the tech space. Yeah. So, I just doing freelance, I started to learn that a lot of the filmmakers that I worked with, they didn't know how to work with tech companies. Yeah. And so I was like, sweet, because I do. So I would start working. I actually found out companies I didn't even know were competitors of Podium because I did jobs with them. And my creative director was like, you can't do work for them. I was like, why not? I was like, I didn't understand that their product was a competitor. But now I've worked with tons of the Utah tech companies, a lot of tech companies from other states, but I've done work with Domo, with Weave, with Entrada, a lot of these big tech companies. Yeah, it's been fun to work with them because I understand how they talk about their product.
That's cool. It's a niche, and you obviously can do it. It sounds a lot like the way Lumio was, not the sales side, but it's like explainer videos, testimonials. You're selling, it was a physical product, but it was a lot of software too. Yeah. So I totally get that. And what's funny too about that story is we took over the other Podium building at Lumio, and we were trying to make your studio space into our studio space, and we cried and moaned. And we're like, we're not doing it. And I had to fight pretty hard to keep the studio we had. Glad it all turned out the way it did, but we crossed paths there too, because it was like, I'm in your old space, man. Well,
and we were at the previous building, and I was like working with the facilities team to build out a studio space, and they were like, well, we have this room that you could use, and I was like, well, it's really small.
It's a closet.
It's really small, and we talked about putting in like a grid to be able to hang lights and move things around without taking up floor space because it was small. They even double drywalled it, where you had drywall this way and then you do a layer the opposite way so your seams don't line up for sound dampening. But then they wouldn't give us budget to move HVAC from outside the room. So a very loud HVAC, whatever you call it, was like hissing in the room. And then how like at commercial offices you try to turn the air off and it just like doesn't do anything. They like don't want
it's like
you to
the
have
lights.
Yeah.
Can't turn the lights off.
So it was just that. It was that tiny little space. And did you work with JJ Mendez? Because he was there, and I remember he texted me because he was at Podium with me.
That's right.
He left, and then down the road he's with Lumio taking over the space.
Yeah, I forgot he was at Podium, but love that guy. Still stay in touch with him. He does some work through Nisha. Do you know Nisha? He works. She's a graphic designer that's also at Lumio. He does work through her for Bullfit.
Cool.
As well. So we keep in touch a little bit. But let's now go back to where it all started for you. Okay. When did you decide you wanted to be a filmmaker? When, was it similar to me? Was it high school, Dustin's class? Or did you think about it even before that? Like what got you started?
Yeah. So my brother took a class from Dustin at Lehigh, and it was fun. So I was like, oh, I'll try it. Yeah. So I took the class, and I don't remember if you ever had this experience, but we were in one of the trailers in the back of the school. There were 2 eMacs in the classroom, and he didn't have any cameras. You had to it was raise your hand, first day class, raise your hand if you have a family video camera. A few people would raise their hand, and he said, that's how many groups we have. Everyone join one of the people who owns their own camera.
Oh my gosh.
And then I think I might have owned a camera, and Dustin would bring his own.
Yeah, I remember that.
Cameras from his wedding business. He'd bring them in, so occasionally we could shoot stuff with it. Yeah. Anyway, going from there, and just like I had a lot of fun, stuck with it. I wasn't really thinking. actually would join the Army National Guard when I was in high school.
That.
So I joined when I was 17.
Or did I?
Me and Matt Slagowski, we
and
joined.
Josh?
So Josh didn't join until years later.
Okay.
But me and Matt Slagowski joined together.
Huh.
We joined just late enough that we couldn't do basic training between our junior year and senior year.
Yeah.
So I graduated and like got ready to leave to basic training. And I get there, and I had a knee injury from like gymnastics. You know, I'll call it parkour to be more cool, but just doing like open gym at the gymnastics gym busted my knee, and I tore my ACL and PCL. And anyway, I showed up to basic training, and they just sent me home. Yeah, they were like, "Hey, you've got a knee injury," and I was like, "Yeah, I've got approval from a doctor," and they sent me home. But I was like, "That's a weird path," because I was in line to be a helicopter mechanic.
Yep.
And I was assigned to the Utah Special Forces unit. So like I most likely would have been deployed multiple times.
Dang.
So I hurt my knee, I get medical discharge, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm planning to go on a Mormon mission.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing that. And I get home and I was like, yeah, video. That was the other thing I was super interested in.
And it all came from Dustin's class, just like it did for me. That's like where I got my start too.
Yeah, I was president of the program in 2007. And which was funny because there were better candidates, but one of them I think moved schools or something or couldn't, and Dustin was like, all right, Bryson can do it. So
that's cool. Yeah, no, I remember your guys' crew, because you guys were all super close with Dustin. You guys had I don't know if you ever did music videos with Zach and them.
Nope, never did any of that stuff. Those I was always friends with Mitch. Dustin. I love Mitch, I love Zach, but they were like best friends. Yeah, I was a little bit of a dick. I was kind of like anti-authoritarian. Yeah. So like sometimes like Dustin and I butt heads.
Yeah.
But
well, I remember sitting in his class junior year, and I just took it because it was fun. I didn't know it was what I wanted to do, and I saw Mike Biggins on one of the Macs, and I had Final Cut Pro at my house, and I saw him do something with an image. I didn't realize you could scale an image down and overlay it over another image, and that blew my mind. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can do so much more now.
Yeah.
Like those little things were pretty cool to see, and that's one of the things that stands out to me in his class. And then he did a parallax zoom once. I don't know if he did that with you, where he got to not the parallax.
Like a dolly zoom?
Dolly zoom. So he would move forward and zoom out as he looked at the clock. And all of us kids, what the heck is going on? Couldn't figure it out. But those are just some of my few memories just from junior year. But similar to you, man, that's where I got my start.
Yeah.
And so you didn't quite think that was your path in high school. You obviously came back from your mission. It was like, I like it.
Well, I came home, and my friend's older sister was getting married, and somehow she asked if I would do the video. Charged $150 for this video. I borrowed a camera from Dustin, and he said, I'll let you borrow it for free one time because you just got home and you don't have any money. And I showed up, didn't know where the white balance button was on the camera.
Nice.
So I shot it in a very, very yellow, very, very warm light chapel.
Yeah.
Like the ugliest video.
Super sepia tone.
So it was so bad. I'm not going to tell you who it was. They're divorced, so hopefully they don't look at this video anymore. But I sent it and just was like, man, I don't really know what to do about it. And it was terrible, and it was $150. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like 8 years later, she texted me and asked me if I still had it. And I just opened it in Premiere, and with the H.264 final, I cleaned up the white balance a little bit and sent it to her, and I was like, that's a little bit better.
Yeah,
it's a little bit better, but I didn't even know.
You couldn't see it. That was my thing. Is like you could, like, obviously we see it now, but like a lot of times people do it to this day. Like they don't realize it's warm. They don't realize it's cool.
Well, the room was warm, so it's like everything I look at is warm temperature, and then my monitor looks warm temperature. But it was to the point that like skin tones were totally wrong. They're wearing like white clothing that does not look white at all.
Yeah,
it was pretty.
My first wedding I did was $150, and it was outside, and it was super fluorescent, so it was like really blue. Okay. So I totally relate to you. I feel like you and I obviously came up in the same generation, figuring it out.
Well, Dustin didn't know.
No,
Dustin was kind of his approach. I think he's learned. There's a lot more resources for him to be able to educate. But before, the philosophy was, I'm going to provide opportunity and ideas, and we figured it out. When Final Cut 7 came out, So we had Final Cut, whatever, maybe it was just 6, the Studio 6. When Final Cut Studio 7 came out, he brought me the user manual and he said, I need you to learn this so you can teach me so I can teach the class.
Yeah. Well, it's all new.
Yeah. So I just like went home and just read the user manual for like a couple days.
Yeah.
And then I would teach him the stuff I learned and then he would teach the class.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. That's such a wild time. And there was this change from tape to digital too, because a lot of the cameras he had were tape and we'd have to capture our footage. And yeah, it's just, anyway, we'll look at us back in our day.
Well, I don't think I shot anything digital until I got home from my mission. Everything up to that point had been tape.
Yeah. I'm trying to think too. I think that was the same for me because I ended up getting an EX3 because I actually had Joe Girard on here. He was like my first mentor. He had a couple of EX3s that a guy bought that he borrowed. And I was like, this has got to be the camera. It didn't have a lens. It was fixed. It was a digital zoom. Anyway, that's what I thought a camera was because it was similar to what tapes were and things, even the home video cameras, right? Lens attachments, aperture, ISO, shutter, none of that even came into play. So I think that was the first camera. My mom actually bought it for me as like on a loan. And that was kind of the first digital thing I ever went for. And it was like massive cards.
Yeah.
But so after you got back from your mission, you started to go down that route. You did a wedding. Were you still thinking this was the path?
Yeah, I pretty quickly was like, this is what I want to do.
Cool.
So I got home at a weird time, so I didn't start school the following semester. I went and did summer sales. One of the worst experiences of my life. Yeah. So bad.
I've heard
and
that
I was too stubborn to come home even though I was losing money.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to do video. I was doing like customer service, like a food storage place, like phone sales stuff. And so I get home, start my first semester of college, going to UVU for film. And I met my wife that semester. We started dating. And I think it was probably within a year, I just kind of learned that I think my dad's always been an entrepreneur in business. And for like really quickly, I was like, I do not want feature films. I don't want narrative. I don't like short stories. Like that's not my path. I like corporate. It's more measurable. That's where there's a lot more money and it's less emotional. That was the thing that I always struggled with like weddings, because it was very emotional because you're dealing with an individual and money from their bank account.
Yeah.
Where now I get to deal with clients who
have a budget.
I can negotiate with no emotion.
Yeah.
Because
it's not their money.
It's like, well, this is what it costs.
Yeah.
Can you get this budget from your team? And if they say, no, our budget is this, I'll be like, cool, then I can offer this.
Yes.
Where with weddings, man, they're so emotional because, and my wedding video, I was emotional about, I hired Dustin to do my wedding. Dustin and Zach.
I think he might've been offended I didn't hire him. I actually don't know that, but I hired David Perry.
Okay.
Who's like the OG of wedding videos in Utah. But, gosh, we completely went sidetracked.
Well, let me get down that.
Because it's measurable, the corporate stuff. And so that's interesting. You actually had that thought, like you don't want to do movies. Yeah. A lot of people are like, I want to do movies. And then they realize they don't.
Well, and still to this day, a lot of the people around me are pretty eager. They're almost like doing commercial because it will one day lead to short film or narrative films or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's nice for me to just be like, cool, I'm not competing with you.
Yeah.
Because that's not where I want to go.
Yeah. Because it's way to make money. Like it's like weddings. You got to make money. You got to have a living, but there's a means to an end for them. Get to that point where they're doing narratives. So, but that's like, you got to have investors. That's like a whole business if you want to go down that route, unless you just become that guy that they hire.
Yeah.
Which is hard to break into.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do that. And immediately at UVU, we took like a script writing class. And I was like, this isn't what I want.
Was that Alex Nibwig?
Maybe.
White hair?
No.
Okay. I took his.
Middle-aged guy with glasses. I don't know.
Cool. Sounds like everyone.
He was a cool guy. Yeah. He was a good guy. But I just was like, oh, no, this is not what I wanted. So I started down the path of, well, what does the rest of a film degree look like at UVU? And I was like, nah, that's not exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Okay. At the same time, I'm working at a door-to-door sales company that was doing DirecTV called Clear Satellite.
Dude,
so
I've shadowed for that company.
Oh, really?
Macintosh?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. He knocked
was Macintosh at Dish One or was he at Clear Satellite? Anyway,
I thought they were the same thing.
Yeah, they're different companies. But I'm working in the call center, and I kind of like keep like pitching that I do video.
Yeah.
And eventually I got the chance to like do some video, and they kind of transitioned me to a video job. And you'll love this. I've been doing video for a few months, and their sales leader comes to me and says, "Hey, you do video. Could you design some shirts for us?" And I was like, "What?
How does that?"
And he's like, "Well, it's like
it's creative.
Like creative.
It's artist.
Creative. Like, yeah, like you can." And
you said yes.
So I was like, "All right." So I just like started tinkering around with like shirts, and looking back at them now, they're just like so absurdly bad. But so now I'm being forced, sort of enjoying learning. I'm making videos and I'm doing graphic design, and I'm kind of like, oh, I kind of like this. And then somehow I can't remember the actual like transition, but like I figured out motion design, where I was like, oh, like you're a graphic designer that understands video, that animates it, but not character animation, not like cartoon style animation. So I started noticing a little bit of that, and I was like, well, where could I go to school for that? So I was looking at like UVU has the animation program, and I was like, no, that's not quite it. And at the time in let's see, 2014 or so, I looked at every school in Utah, and nobody had a motion design program. And anybody in the graphic design program, didn't have more than one or so classes around motion.
Yeah.
But UVU had like 4. So I was like, okay, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So I actually changed my major to a BFA of graphic design so that I could focus on the motion design classes.
Interesting.
And ironically, I get into the program, and you had about 20 kids per class. 18 of the 20 kids hated motion, couldn't understand why it was part of the program, and wanted out.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweet, cool. Even more of a bias for me to go this direction, because my competition is crazy low, because nobody who's going to understand design has any interest in doing motion. So I'm like, sweet, easy. This is like a sweet path for me. So
that's cool. So you started going on that path.
Yeah.
Who did you end up working for after that? Like, did you get another job, or did you just start freelancing?
So, let's see. I started installing DirecTV. I did that for 2 summers with Clear Satellite. So I was working for them up until I started doing the summers. And then I came back and I was freelancing for them, trying to figure out what was next, like during the school year. And I ended up getting a job at a company called Business Promotion. They're called Dental Core now. They do like dental marketing. Mm-hmm. So that's where I met my first like real mentor, Chad Brown. Phenomenal mentor. And I kind of like had this whole foundation that I got to build with him on like, so what we would do as a team is we would travel out and do a 1-day production with a 2-man crew for dental practices, medical practices. So I did that for a while and learned so much from doing that on like how to run like this really small team.
Yeah. And
I don't know, that was great. Traveled to a bunch of places. And then I actually got fired from that job. I butt heads pretty bad with the CEO, ended up getting let go. And I picked up a freelance gig for like a month. And during that month, I got hit up by a Podium recruiter and started interviewing and got the job at Podium.
Very cool.
So it was like, kind of like I went from this like working for a door-to-door sales company, doing stuff alone, no idea what I'm doing, to working under a mentor with like a team of we got up to like 5 people.
Yeah.
And then going to Podium where I'm the only video person again, but it was sweet to have like a whole bunch of experience to bring to the table finally.
And so when you're going through all these different areas, you just kept leaning into the motion graphics thing.
Yeah.
The video just kind of happened here and there.
Yeah. Well, I was still doing a lot of video. I did a lot of video for Podium, but I mean, I was hired as a motion designer.
Gotcha.
And then during the interview process, I was like, well, I do all video. Yeah. So we actually changed the title that I was hired on as video producer instead of motion designer, which is what they were hiring for. And I think maybe 2 to 3 years into the job, our team was growing, and my creative director came to me and said, you need to pick a lane because we need to hire one of those two. Like, we need another video person. Do you want live action or do you want motion? And I actually chose live action. I said, I'm going to stick to the filming side. Let's hire a motion designer.
Is that where JJ came in?
So JJ was a graphic designer at the company.
Gotcha.
He wasn't working on any motion. We hired my friend Corey Koyaski. I shouldn't say my friend. He is now, but at the time he was just random dude from Ohio.
Yeah.
And he actually moved out to Utah to take the job.
Right.
And now he's back in Ohio. But
nice.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy to since we hired him, I wasn't doing any motion for at least a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then finally, as I quit the company to do my own production business, that's where a lot of like motion started coming back in.
What was like your, where was your head at during all this? Did you feel like you were, I just want to dig deep a little bit on the emotions of the progress you were making. Mm-hmm. Did you feel like you were going down the right path? Were there struggles? Like, if there was, how'd you get through them? Like, I'm just kind of curious more on just like the mentality you had as you were kind of progressing through these different areas.
Yeah.
Were you happy? Were you not? Like, curious.
Well, when I was working at business promotion, and I was doing video, but I was still in school. Mm-hmm. I actually went to a couple of my professors I was close with and said, hey, I'm actually going to drop out. And they were like, what? Don't you value the accomplishment of getting your degree?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, not at all. I want a better job, and I already have a good job. And they were just like, you're crazy. I talked to enough people that I had a year left, that they were like, man, a year is so small. You have no idea where you're going to be in 10 years. And once you get the degree, you just have it for life. Mm-hmm. And if in 5 years you decide you want to do something that requires a degree, then you go back. They were like, just suck it up for a year. So I did. So there was a lot of like, this where like I would get better, and then my ego would surpass my skill set, but then my skill set would get better. And so I don't know, did you feel that a lot, where it was kind of like you'd start to get a little bit of an ego, and then you'd realize I actually don't know what I'm doing quite as much as I would like?
I think where that comes in is it's imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. It's like you get good at a skill, and then you start to think I'm actually not that good, but really you are. And I think it's just you fighting that. And that's kind of this like mentality question, is like you're fighting against yourself. It's like, do I deserve this? Am I actually that good? Oh, this guy's way better than me. I'm actually not as good as I thought. It's comparing, right?
Yeah.
That's a theme that comes up a lot in this. And it's kind of goes back to that original question of just like, I think that anyone that's going down this path, they're figuring it out as they go, and there's a lot of ups and there's a lot of downs. And it's like, how did you get through those things if there were the downs? Because I'm sure you even had kids that kind of started to come into the mix. You got a family now. It's like, was this the career for you? Was it not? Did you choose this?
Mm-hmm. I would say I have never, probably about the time I got the job at business promotion till now, video's been it.
Cool.
There's been like, what if I had gone a different direction? Or I'd also like to own a business. I'd like to buy a business. But no, video's been it. And it was more of figuring out how I fit in the video. Mm-hmm. And so there was, like I said, the change. But, you asked about like the emotional state. And I'll be a little transparent here. I started at that business promotion company making $40,000 a year. I worked there for a few years, had some freelance stuff. I started at Podium at 70. So over like 3 years, I almost doubled my income. Mm-hmm. And then a year into working at Podium, I asked for like a $10,000 raise to 80, and I got it. And at the time, I was like, this is crazy. I just doubled my income in like 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And so I think that there was like, even, I don't know, things were tough at times. But like I always felt I felt a lot of progress, a lot of forward momentum. I mean, I did end up quitting Podium because I've always wanted to do my own production company. I was really tired of the exact same product to do content of the same product.
Yeah.
There would be multiple times where I'd be on a project. There would be a hiccup, as in like an issue with budget, with timing, with crew. And I was like, I'm having deja vu. For the past 2 years, every project has been this. We have this issue with budget. This team doesn't actually agree that we should be creating content this way. So anyway, it was interesting. But I always felt like I was progressing and growing.
What was that for you though? Like what was that carrot? What was progress to you? What did you do that said I'm progressing? Was it the money, or was it like the art? Was it like,
so
I'm curious.
I think
what's
video,
always been it for you? Like, where are you headed?
Yeah. I mean, money is to be honest, is a really big driver for me.
Yeah.
And with a family,
I
got 3 kids and a house, and so like I love to do video, but we love to travel, and I want to be able to. So there's the money has definitely been like a measuring stick.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that happened at Podium that was another like huge unlock to my career was leveraging other people.
Yeah.
And for example, motion, I had a degree in graphic design. Now I was never great at graphic design because all my attention was on motion. So a lot of my friends in the program progressed better. Anyway, I'm at Podium with fantastic graphic designers, and they're designing style frames, and I'm like, man, my stuff looks awesome because a good graphic designer was able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And not to hop around too much, but the reason I fell into producing is because I was like, man, these DPs are amazing.
Yeah.
Why would I film it when I can own the project? I can be the client. I can have the relationship with the client.
Yep.
But I can hire this guy, and it's so much better than I can make it.
Yeah.
So that was a big transition for sure.
That's cool. And Parker brought that same thing up. Like, yeah, everyone has to say that money's a part of it. It's like it's what you need. It's kind of, so the way he said it is that it is a measuring stick. It's like, how is something working? Well, the money is kind of what follows it and tells you if that's actually a good route. And then a lot of people say they don't do it for the money.
Yeah.
They do it just for the art. But at the same time, we all have to make a living. And so I totally get that side of it. Leveraging other people, that's a huge skill to learn.
Yeah. And
being able to trust other people, especially as you're doing something that maybe you saw you could do better, or vice versa, something you can't do as good. That's what I've like loved, is like EPing and just being like, I want to hire people to do it, but it's still so hard for me to not step in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can still relate to that. Is that still a thing that you deal with when you're producing?
Actually producing, I would say, well, here's what's funny. As far as the biggest budget thing I've ever shot myself, maybe 20 grand, but now I'm producing 100K plus jobs, and I feel super incompetent on any of the actual technical side of things. So it's really easy for me to not get too involved.
Yeah.
In fact, Pierce Tews is one of my good friends that I work with all the time. Maybe this is annoying to him, but sometimes he'll ask my creative opinion, and I'm kind of like,
DP that day you came here.
Yeah. He DPs and directs, and we've worked on a lot of projects. And sometimes I'm like, I'm just the producer, man.
Yeah.
And I understand intimately what the client is looking for, because that's what my role has been, is like understanding what they're looking for. But no, I love hiring good people and kind of just like stepping back and watching them work.
Yeah, that's cool. I struggle with that so bad, but it is amazing.
But it's because you're a good DP, and I was never a great DP.
Got it.
As a good DP, because Pierce, now he'll direct a shoot.
Yeah, and he has struggles.
And as a he's been a DP forever.
Yeah.
I can see how difficult it is for him to just like let go.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's the same for you, right?
It is, and it's like when like I did that gaff/DP work for you, and when I'm in that mode and it's just like that's not working, and then you just are moving things. It's hard to believe someone can do that the same. Like, could they actually get this look? And it's so no different than today when I was DPing for Zane. It was just like, there's so many factors into making something look the way we did that it's like, could someone do this? But the fact is it doesn't matter, because if they couldn't, they'd do something different.
Yep.
But that's what I struggle with, is like when I'm on the shoot and I'm not DPing, I'm like, I typically will add in my thoughts, but like it's before the shoot, like what would it have been like if I did it? Would it have been better?
Yeah.
But that's not scalable. It's not, you'll burn yourself out. I've definitely done that and been there, but
well, also you said, will it be better? Like, in what way? Like, would it aesthetically be better? Will the client be happier with the results? Like,
most of the time they don't care. They literally don't. And we've shot enough times that like they see something and I'll have all this feedback and maybe someone delivered it before I got that feedback and they're like, oh, we love it. And I'm like, I guess you don't need to do any of that. And it's like, it's just me overthinking it.
Yeah.
But there's a balance, obviously you want things to be high quality but I love the relationship side of being in the middle between the clients and my crew. Yeah. And you're in charge of the cash, which is a fun thing to orchestrate and try to deal with margins and things like that.
I will say paying out my friends is my favorite part of producing. Yeah. Like that, when the payment hits for me and I'm like, 10 grand to you, 5 grand to you, 4 grand to you, like, and I'm just like sending, Zelle, like Venmo, and I'm just sending all this money. I love it. It feels so good. What
happens when you have no money left?
It's never happened, fortunately.
Good. You're a good producer.
I believe I'm good enough at the job, or I'm lucky enough that
you had that extra 20% of the budget.
Yeah, that even when we've had overages that wouldn't be covered by the client, that we were okay.
Yeah, and we've talked about that too. Like, you want something to be good. Sometimes you'll dip into your profit a little bit to make it better. And a lot of that comes at the beginning of a relationship. Like, it's totally worth it to me to do that.
Yeah, not 5 projects in. Projects in, I better be clear, or you better be clear what it costs.
100%. Yeah, no, that's the struggle with the business I'm in, is like, how do you balance these long-term relationships that can continue to grow? It's not like a fixed cost. You hire people that fulfill on those things, and then you bring in another client, and then you're pushing those people to that business, and it's like this, all of a sudden you realize there's no cash left, and you're like, ugh. And I've been there so many times where it's like you're balancing all these different projects and you're doing it yourself, and you lose track of like what's where, because you're just going so fast. And that's why I've got these guys to help me with that now, to like to help us be more productive and keep track of where all the money's going. But basically, that's a hard thing to do. But when it's project by project and you're a good producer, man, that's when you have done your job, is when there's profit. So cool, man. I'd love to talk a little bit about, because like it kind of brings us to where we are now, which is your freelancing. You've got Southworth Films? Creative. I wanted to look at that. And
don't love the name, but I love, that's my name.
Your last
Southworth.
name.
And
Southworth.
Creative, I'm like, I've tried to come up with other names, and I'm like, who cares?
Bro, you're talking to the guy that's named his company Tyson Media.
Well, and once you start to dig into it, it's also like, I got kids.
Yeah.
You're not sure about the name. You're like, I think that we're going to love this name. And then, 6 months down the road, you're like, there's no other name that could have been. Yeah. Anyway, you kind of like,
names was like the ultimate problem for me.
Yeah.
Like I at one point called myself Tyson Henderson Pro. And it's like, it just got to a point, I had different names, and I had 2 names picked out for this business in 2020 when I was starting it. And I took it to a few people, and everyone was like, well, if you name it Tyson Media, you can't sell it. And I'm like, I don't believe that, because I'm like, look at Ford, not that I'll be that big. Not Kleenex. I think that was the last name. No, maybe it wasn't.
I don't know.
Mercedes, all these car names, all these brands that are people's last names that just become a brand, and you don't correlate it with the person anymore. And I will tell you firsthand, it's happening. It's like slowly happened to where Tyson Media has become just a brand. And it's only getting better each year, But
yeah. Well, they're like Tyson Meats.
Tyson Meats?
Yeah. Oh, like chicken and like.
Yeah.
You don't even think of it as a name. It's just the name of the company.
It's the perfect analogy. So anyway, back to your name. It's one of my friends told me this. It's not the name. It's the way. It's the business that makes the name cool.
Yep.
So if you're doing great things and you believe in your product and your brand, then that just becomes the name. Yep. But I'll hint one more time. Can we pull up his website? There we go. All right, let's talk about Bryson's website. Just tell me about one of the projects that you're most proud of, and then let's take a look and just talk about it. Is it your sizzle reel?
So this sizzle,
you probably got a lot of
sizzle
graphics.
I just finished last week.
Okay.
And I'm pretty stoked about it. So we can watch
a lot
some
of graphic animation.
Yep, this is all animation. So this was the project that we filmed in here. So
I'm
I made
this.
I made them 2 videos.
Yeah.
This is the one. This was the motion piece. So this was the all motion piece, and then the other one was the footage. So I can show you some of that one too, because I want you to be able to see.
Dude, I need to hire you for our client Galileo. You know who they are?
Mm-hmm.
They are under SoFi, and then I need to hire you for VidLead. We need to get you looking at their stuff. We don't have a huge budget, but I need this work. I had no idea this is like what you specialize in.
That's my favorite start to the conversation.
Yeah.
Is we don't have a lot of budget.
Oh, it always works.
Anyway,
but just know that I spend all my budget.
Anyway, so it's like for software, it's like pretty exciting. Fortunately, they were able to provide a freelance designer who did a lot of the design, which I'm really happy with.
Motion.
And so I did all the animation, motion, and
that was cool.
So,
do you have the video edited that you shot here yet?
Yeah. I don't know if it's on my. It's definitely on my Vimeo. Oh, it's that one right there.
That's crazy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, this video was Tyson helped me get it all set up, and
that's crazy.
He helped me do the lighting and stuff.
Did you end up doing a generative fill like we talked about on the edges? Yeah.
So
you had the legs. Obviously, you got rid of those.
So I got rid of the legs. Also, since do you remember the lighting was kind of inconsistent on the left and right?
Yeah, it was hard.
I took it into Photoshop. I took the whole outside and I just duplicated it and flipped it.
Yeah.
So it was identical on each side, and I removed the feet.
Fix it in post.
Because they never break the barrier of that wall.
Yeah.
So you would never really know it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this one's a little bit lighter on motion. It's mostly just tech stuff, but like behind, and then we do get into a little bit of product. But this is,
It looks awesome. I love that, the yellow square too.
Yeah, it was a funky idea. It came together.
It's crazy. It's real because it doesn't look real, which is a good sign.
So
it looks really.
So we came in, we did a pre-light day, and you and I tried to set it up with the green on this LED wall. And I thought it was so cool. Yeah. And the client was like, whoa, that's so moody for what we're going for. And yeah, so
cool.
So Hayden, the guy that was just talking, he's also a friend from Podium. That's how I got connected with them. He used to work there. Him and his dad just built this wall together. It's literally like framed it, drywalled it, painted it. And we brought it in, and the feet are removed, so it kind of doesn't feel made like that. It's like their brand color, which was real. You can't find like a paper backdrop in that same color.
Looks cool. It looks like it's floating. So this is dope. It's cool to be a part of. Yeah, you can see a little bit of that corner of our site. That's proof. Sweet, dude. I'm glad I got to see that. Anything else on your website that like you're stoked about that you want to show?
Okay, let me tell you about a couple. I want to show you a project that Pierce Twos and I worked on with Mike Biggins, where we traveled. This was the project that got me to leave Podium to start my production company. Ben, I think it might be on here. Keep scrolling down. Yes, it was for Film Supply, and it was shooting soccer content for the World Cup in Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a full-time job, and Mike and Pierce hit me up and they said, hey, do you want to come with us? We're going to go to Dubai, Qatar, Germany, England, and then we're going to go to, and then later Pierce and I decided to go back to Brazil.
Say less. You're in.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm in. I'm going to use PTO. I'm not. So they said, hey, you're not going to get paid anything, but you'll get a portion of the sales of the footage.
Yeah.
And so this is me, Mike Biggins, Pierce Twos. They decided. I was pretty much there as like a producer, PA, pretty much. I was just an extra set of hands, and we're traveling around the world with, I think it was all shot on the Red, and then we rented some Atlas Orions. So this big case of anamorphics that we took with us everywhere, and
that's wild.
And then we just wanted to shoot this like stock footage that you could sell to promote the World Cup in all these different countries so countries could buy it.
So that was just like you guys thinking this is a good idea, or did someone like...
So it was through Film Supply. Film Supply they put up some money. I won't...
For the travel.
I'll let Pierce tell his story hopefully one day on this podcast. Yeah. But he put up a bunch of his own money and funded this whole trip and all this shooting. And it was so unbelievably fun. And it was the most grueling trip I've ever been on.
Yeah.
Mike Biggins will have to tell you too. It was so grueling. But I just was like, this is incredible. Like I could do this and not be in-house at a company, kind of at somebody else's demand of like whatever product they want. Yeah. Ironically, I'm still doing a lot of tech stuff, but that's why I produce, is because the opportunity to do, I can have lunch with my kids because I'm working from home one day.
Yeah.
And then I can go do like
cool project,
crazy production.
Yeah. When you were doing this, when you say it was so exciting, was it more about the time off, or was it like being creative? Because I remember going on a trip like this similarly with Nomadic, and it was for one of their campaigns, and we went all over the Western United States and filmed just anything and everything we could think of that was just in front of us, which probably is similar to this. And I just remember it reigniting this like creative flair that kind of got diminished through kind of being told what to do, which was like through Supertramp, through Nomadic, and this was just free reign. Yeah. Is it similar for you? Like, was it a creative like flair for you?
Yeah, it wasn't, because it wasn't my project. I didn't have like,
you were producing.
I didn't have creative call. Yeah. But nobody, like 3 creatives, Pierce is a great DP, Mike Biggins is a great photographer, and me, if we think it looks good, we shoot it.
Yeah.
We didn't feel, now they would give us notes every once in a while, Film Supply would, but we just came up with anything we thought would be interesting.
That's fun.
We didn't even take, I think we took a single, I don't remember if we even had a light with us. Everything you see is natural light, because I think we might have rented a light at one point. Anyway, it was just the feeling that whatever we thought looked good was the right choice.
Yeah.
Not, I'm going to try it and see if we can fit this in the final cut. It was every idea we had, we just did it.
Yeah. There's a lot of pressure that comes with that too, especially being with other creatives. It's like, should I always be working? Should I always be filming? Should I always be getting stuff? We had a lot of shoots like that with them, and there's a lot of pressure that came with that if I wasn't working in. So a little bit of a balance there. I want to see, I don't think I've ever seen the actual final product of the red shoot you didn't hear. And I really want to talk about that and have you explain, because was that your vision? And I know when you called me, you were like, we've tried the paper, we've tried green screen. I would love to actually see what a real red cyc would look like. And it has caused so much controversy on my social media. It's amazing, where people are just like, why are you doing that? Why don't you do this? And it's like, you just have to understand the way it looks compared to what other things. It was cool. And it was pretty amazing. Yeah. Because you could AI it, or you could add a green screen, but there was some character to the way the wall looked. Yeah. It was pretty cool. So I really want you to talk to me about the creative thought process, what you've tried, what didn't work, why you chose to have the cyc wall painted red, because people want to know. Yeah. You're thinking in that, Bryson. Okay. What the heck were you thinking?
I actually don't know if that project, so it's Craig Swap and Associates.
I saw it on TV at Lifetime for a moment.
Yeah, you probably
and I was like, no way. But then the other cool thing is it's that billboard literally right here at our office. Yep. And then you can tell the difference between the one you did and the ones that were from the past. Yeah. They're so clean. Yeah. It's crazy.
Also, I think the billboards, some of them have just gotten old over time.
Yeah, they've gotten washed.
They're not doing, this isn't a temporary campaign. They are all about billboards. I know on their YouTube channel. So the job came through Pierce, but we've been doing the TV commercials for Craig Swap and Associates this was a 3rd year. Yeah. The first 2 years, we actually were at the studio at Enigma. Mm-hmm. Huge studio, bringing in a semi, bringing in crashed vehicles, and we had this whole thing. And then they wanted to do something different. So me and Pierce got together and we kind of came up with the idea of some of their old ads had the red backdrop, and we were like, hey, let's do a red backdrop again. Now we put in all the legwork to be like, well, we could do paper. Well, we love the full body look.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was the shot.
Yeah, this isn't green screen. This is painted.
Cool. Like you see the reflection on their shoes. Like you don't get that with green screen. And so it's
and obviously on this LED wall, you're not going to see
it's not going to look as good.
But
so
yeah, it didn't.
When I create an Instagram post of this, we'll show the actual footage. So find this website.
Yeah.
I guess save that video.
But they're a great team. This is, Craig's the dad. Ryan and Lauren are the kids.
Okay.
And he's going to retire and they'll take over. And anyway, they're great to work with. And, but yeah, so we're like, okay, paper, you can't get a paper wide enough to show full body. Also, they'll be standing on paper, which you can kind of tell.
Or to get 3 wide too.
Yeah, we needed to be able to do 3 wide. If you light the backdrop, you can't light the floor without lighting the body.
Yeah.
So it was like, also, if I'm being honest, you weren't charging us that much to go red.
No.
So it was like, well, why are we killing ourselves over paper?
Yeah.
Let's just paint the whole thing red.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you regret what you charged.
Because I was like, it'll take 2 coats and we'll be fine. It was 5 effing coats.
Yeah, but both directions.
Oh yeah, here we go.
But you had to paint
the controversy, man. Why don't get a 3 wide paper roll? After the first stroke, I would have locked around and said, I need a break, and would have laid down and started doom scrolling. Can't say I didn't do that.
It's not just like true red. They have a Pantone.
Yes.
So we bought paint that was their exact red.
Color.
We didn't want to have to go shift to reds, especially when you're dealing with reds in post. You have red in your skin tones. We did not want to affect skin tones. Yeah. We just wanted the right red, and we didn't want to think about it.
Yeah, and there's Bryson right there, and there's Pierce.
Also, this was it was cheaper. They were like, hey, we've been spending quite a bit of money on these ads with these crashed vehicles. We can continue to use those. Let's shoot something and go for a quantity play over expensive play. So instead, this year, what we did is we filmed a bunch of talking head segments on the red, and it's been able to. It has a lot more legs than previous campaigns where we would do a 3-day shoot previously and get them like a handful of ads. Yeah. And we shot here for 1 day and got them like 25 ads.
Way more. We do a lot of that same work. It's talking head, it's quantity over, I don't want to say quality because the quality is still great, but and the other video is actually done way better than this one. It was me going back to white.
That was the one that I knew.
So going to red was 2 coats. Easy.
Yeah, red's dark.
And I posted this one not thinking it would do it as well because the other one started moving. Anyway, this one, 36,000 likes. It's like, this one went pretty nuts. But the amount of people are just like, what are you doing? But I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy this. I thought it was a really fun experiment. And it was the first time I'd done it. So I wasn't like, there was no way I was like pissed about it. I was like, this is actually pretty cool. But I learned a lot.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of coats. And I don't think I needed the gray.
You don't think you would have primered it?
I don't know because I don't know what that would have done without it. If that got rid of the red faster.
Yeah. I've been told absolutely the primer would be.
It got rid of the pink.
Yes.
That it probably would have left over. So maybe it was a good call. But I kind of just did that thinking that if I even put 5 coats of white, it would still look pink.
Yep. But here we are.
Yeah.
Joking about it.
Yeah.
Hindsight bias, it was the right call.
Yeah.
Painting it got us a look that you cannot get any other way.
Yeah.
And so if somebody's like, that's stupid, it's like, nope. You just need to be paying the studio the right amount of money to paint it and then paint it back.
Yeah.
But absolutely, it gave us the look we were going for.
And no regrets, but yes, I would charge more for the time I spent on the paint.
I'm trying to think.
The paint back.
I'm trying to think what. Do you remember what it was?
I think I added a little bit to it too.
You added a little bit, but I think we were still like. I think it was still like a few $100.
I don't know. No,
there's no.
That was including the rental, though. I think it ended up being $1,200.
Probably
for the rental and the paint. So it might have been way effing.
So you,
gosh, you got me.
So tell me specifically though, what's your lesson? That you would do it again, but
I would do it again.
You just would.
I'd do it for the social media content.
You almost need to close the studio the next day because you need a full day to.
Well, and that was the other problem is I had someone renting pure white the next day, so I had to, which forced me to do it, which was nice.
Yeah.
But it was like 2 coats. I'm like, crap. 3 coats. Oh my gosh. And then even 4 coats. I was like, I can still see the line. So I was like, this is just a learning experience.
Yeah.
But it didn't take that much time. Like, I think it was like 2 to 3 hours. And when you think about the time spent, it's just the effort.
Yeah.
That was the hard part. It was pretty hard.
Yeah.
It was exhausting, but I can't say I didn't enjoy it. Glad we got to experience that together, man.
Yeah.
I think it was a really fun test, and I would absolutely do it again if someone wanted to paint. I just think it's cool. It's unique, right? Everyone does a white psych wall with a splash of light. It's like, let's try something new. So good job on the creative side to make that happen.
Yeah.
So, and you sold the client on it.
Yeah. And they loved it.
Yeah.
It's, those ads are on TV all over Utah now,
Yeah,
and
super cool.
Idaho and Washington.
And the billboards.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's something I really wanted to talk about. Is there anything that you would want to kind of talk about that I've forgotten or that you've done in your career that was like a highlight as a filmmaker? Because
I would just say overall that transition from being in-house to running a production company is such a wild experience.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think a lot of people are really scared to do it, but they really want it. They want that freedom. I will say absolutely the grass is always greener on the other side, or the grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah.
Both expressions work here, because sometimes I look at people who are in-house and I'm like, man,
the consistency
to be done at 5 and to not think about it until 9.
That'd be amazing.
Would be insane.
Yeah.
Like, there is a percentage of my brain that has never, that in the past 10 years has not turned off this like scheming on how to do better, how to get more
100%.
business, how to do better work. And
that's a good thing.
yeah.
If you don't have that, then my last guest, Dustin Armstrong, he had the opportunity to work here or at Crumble, right?
Yep.
Obviously the pay was better at Crumble, so that helped him in the decision, but he was very honest about the fact that he just wants a consistent paycheck. He wants to be done at 5, go to the same place every day. And so that made sense for him.
Yep.
And I think what you're saying is like, you have the type of brain that doesn't shut off, that's always scheming, always wanting it. So you wouldn't be happy. I think maybe you felt that at Podium, and I know I felt that at Nomadic, felt it at Supertramp. It was always like, I was always doing something else, and it kind of pissed people off because it's like my head was in different places, but I always did my work. And so if you've got this like drive to like do more or do something for yourself, you got to listen to it, because you won't be fulfilled until you do it.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you're doing it is just who you are. And I think it's important for you to continue that. And then one day, maybe you're just like, I just want to turn it in and go from 9 to 5. I just can't see myself ever doing that.
I can't.
Again, I actually did it with Lumio while I was running my business, and I was like, I'll never do that again. But it's for some people, and it's not for others. But
so in my office, I have 2 posters up on the wall. One is Community, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and the other is Severance. And the Severance one, love the show, but it's literally my reminder to never go back, because I don't know if you've watched Severance, but
oh yeah, freaking love that show.
It's obviously a dramatization of the going into the office and splitting your personality, but like I felt that, and I'm like, nope.
And the politics, man.
Yep.
You literally are a different person.
And that like you want life to be different. You know what? I actually think I'd like to work on this today. And your manager's like, that's not what we need.
Yeah.
And I just, so that's, for me, it's like, I would rather make less money working for myself. And I feel like that's a little bit of a cliche that people say, but like, for sure, I would rather make less money with control of my time and freedom, because if I'm making less money today, I can always make more. But, at Podium, I had a performance review where they do like annual raises, and I got a bad score, and they said, hey, no raise for next year. And I was like, that's crazy that somebody else gets to decide that, because if I want to make more money, I just work harder on my freelance work.
Yeah, it's out of your control. And one of the most interesting kind of paradigm shifting things for me was when I was trying to decide, what was I doing? I was trying to decide if I should leave Nomadic or not. I talked to my wife's uncle, and he goes, what are you scared of? I was like, well, the security. Like, I love to know that I got a paycheck coming in. Mm-hmm. If I leave, it's not secure. And he goes, actually, let me mind F you.
Mm-hmm. I think I got
this
like,
expression. It's the opposite. He's like, if you have a skill and you're good enough, your job is actually less secure than if you were to go out and use that skill and produce income. Mm-hmm. He said, when you're at a job, you have no control over your, like you just said, your raises. You have no control if they're going to fire you. You have no control if the company goes out of business. It's way less secure. But there's been this like security brainwash thing that like jobs make you believe. But if you're good enough and you have a skill and you can get out there and go and make 10 grand, like I'm talking like life or death, you need to make money. You're going to go make that money.
Yep.
That's way more secure.
Yep.
So I'm telling that to people all the time. It's just harder.
Yeah.
And it is scary, but that's a good thing. Lean into it.
Well, I did get fired from a job, laid off, whatever the right terminology was. I was let go. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that can happen. But if a client lays me off, I have a bunch more. Mm. Also, if I'm in-house and I get laid off, I have to like spin up this machine where right now this machine is churning all the time. Yeah. So again, I've had times where I wasn't churning the way I liked. I've had months.
Yeah, of course.
I've had a couple of years ago, I had a couple months where the first day of the month would hit and I had no jobs booked and no income coming in for the month. And all my bills were due in 30 days. And I've got like I said, I got a family and kids. We're not cheap. And I had to like, who do I call who will do a job fast enough to get money in my account within the next 30 days? And that's super, super scary. But again, right now, if every one of my clients was like, we're out, I'm like, that sucks. But like, the machine's moving. Like, I know how to get more work. I know how to drum it up. And if I have to work crazy hours or hit up my filmmaker friends to see who can hire me, or,
you can go make it.
Yep. Also, a lot of people are so scared over health insurance.
That's a big one.
It's not a big deal.
I get asked all the time.
That's not a big deal.
When I hire people, do you have that? And I'm like, no, I don't.
Well, are you hiring them as W-2 or contractors?
I have both.
Because the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that you can do marketplace health insurance where you estimate your income. Mm-hmm. And so you estimate your income, and then if you go over that income, you have a little bit of a penalty.
Yeah.
But it's like for small business owners, right? And as long as you make less than, your adjusted gross income is less than like 145 or 150,
yep. And you can control that if you have the right CPA.
Yeah. Also, if you're making more than that, good for you. Yes. Like if your adjusted gross is over 150, I don't think you should be concerned about
pay those taxes.
Yeah, go pay for your health insurance.
Dude, I'm gonna get demonetized for saying this, and we'll probably get taken down. Health insurance is a freaking scam, and it's a waste of money. I do say though that if something life-altering happened, it's there. But dude, how many times have I submitted a freaking claim and it's denied every time? Yeah, because it's not as important.
Well, my kid was.
We're getting down a rabbit hole now.
I know, my kid fell and fractured his skull when he was 2.5, and it was $100,000 that we would have paid, and insurance just covered them all.
There you go. See, now I'm going to shut up because I haven't had that kind of experience to where I needed it. But like you said, if you got enough money, the cash, you could pay that. Yeah. It's easier than paying freaking $5,000 a month.
Yeah. It is a rabbit hole, but also I would say 80% of the time that someone tells me they wish they could do freelance, it's health insurance that they're afraid of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not necessarily the barrier. There are quite a few options. You don't have to pay $2,000 a month.
Yeah, and there's like the Christian healthcare thing.
Yep. There's Christian healthcare ministries is an option.
And they've actually been pretty awesome. We use them for a bit. But yes, there's a lot of great options. Don't let healthcare scare you from going out and pursuing your dreams. But at the same time, if that's what you need is a consistent job, then do it.
Yep.
I was going to ask you, and maybe you can deny to answer this question, or you can take it and say something different because you kind of just answered it. But what kind of advice would you give to someone that is going down a similar path, corporate, freelance? Like, just what would you tell that person if they're listening to this and want to do what you're doing?
Oh man. I have spent a very large portion of my career stuck in paralysis by analysis. And everybody told me, I actually I had a business coach who I worked with through the transition to go freelance, which was helpful, not necessary. But we talked about it constantly. I had this paralysis by analysis. And everybody would tell me, you won't even learn if it's right or wrong until you act. If all you ever do is think, all you'll ever have are thoughts, right? And I would just sit around and I thought I could think until I finally unlocked it. And here I am just like still struggling with it. But like I didn't, you don't learn anything until you act.
Mm-hmm.
And just be agile. If you act and it's not working, like
you'll figure
pivot.
it out. Yeah. That's so much about what we do. And I hear that a lot. Like, I didn't know this is gonna, I don't want to toot my horn, but I've heard from a lot of people that when I run up against something, I pivot hard and I make it right and I figure it out. And it's like, that is entrepreneurship to a T, is learning to pivot when you need to and not trying to beat the dead horse or, you know, do the same thing over and over. And that's like a huge testament to being a freelancer. But at the same time, dude, acting and not just thinking, because and I'll bring up Parker again. He would say that he did that to a fault as well. Like, he overanalyzed, overthought, but at the same time, he was acting and he was creating. And he always thought, he's like, did I do it too much? Did I not do it enough? Honestly, I don't think he did bad at all. I think it was good. But yeah, I think that's really good advice. Yeah. So I'm glad you answered it. Didn't.
Yeah, and hopefully that's helpful to somebody. It's been a real struggle.
So you're still struggling with it today?
Absolutely, because when I think of pivots or hiring or who I contract out to or how much to contract, sometimes I just kind of get frozen in, like, I just got to think a little harder and I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, just make a call. Like, how, I don't know.
So explain that to me. Like, what are you thinking? What are you overthinking? When you say make the call, like, is it just the fact that you could do it and make the money, or is it like, what, explain that a little bit.
Well, so like quitting, for example, or, you know, specifically, like I produce, I do like kind of some solo stuff. I do motion design. And a part of me was like, well, you have to pick a lane. Which lane though? And don't make the decision until you know for sure. Mm-hmm. Because
just acting and figuring it out.
Like, all right, try it.
That makes sense.
So I've noticed in myself that I just kind of froze and didn't take the steps in the direction that I wanted, because what if it's not the right direction? And
what if?
Yeah, what if?
Unknown.
And also I'm in like a really lucky phase right now where business has gone really good. Yeah. So I'm just like, when things are really slow and you're stressed, you know, it's a lot harder to take risks and take action.
Totally. So what do you do to take action?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. It
just happens.
I think that.
So when you say you're struggling with it, you're still overthinking. Should I do this or should I do that?
Yeah.
But then you're obviously acting.
Yeah.
Because business is good.
Yeah. I don't feel like there's like I have an insight there yet. There's not like this special trick that I have.
Do you feel like you act more? Or now, or do you feel like you overanalyze?
I would also say that it's just, maybe it's the fact that I just decided, don't even solve the problem, just keep going, keep doing, just follow what works, follow what works. Yeah. But if you're only trying one thing, you don't know what works.
Yeah.
You know, I think Parker said this, and I hear people say this all the time. You know, you go start a new social media account, you're trying to get followers, you know, you might have 25 duds. Like, any podcast that's ever been started was not popular from the first, second, third, fifth, 10th episode. Like
100th.
We were talking about this earlier.
It's like, man, if I was only 10 episodes in and it was,
right. Yeah, but you got to do it. You got to try something.
For sure. And when you find something that works, you lean into that thing.
Yeah.
Another thing that has really stood out to me more recently, and I've talked to these guys about it, is focus. And like, I find myself doing way too many things and spreading myself so thin. And it was Alex Hormozy that had this great video that was like, all these companies are stuck at 3 million. And he's like, there's one thing you need to do to get past that. It's focus. So a lot of the times when you're in a business like this one, you're bootstrapping everything. You don't have a lot of resources to take things from you. And so, yeah, if you have investors, you can actually hire the resources and do all the things you need to do so you can focus on what you need to do, which is grow the business. And so being able to focus on what works and not spread yourself over so many different things, like you're saying, like you found some things that work, dialing in on that and like doubling down is when you get over that barrier of like where you're stuck. And I'll tell you right now, I've been stuck for 5 years growing this business. It was a lot of income first year, and it's been that every year. And it's honestly, I haven't found the identity yet. It's like, I don't know what we're doing. We're a production company. Yep. But I feel like recently we've kind of figured something out. I'm not going to say it works yet, but it's working for other businesses. Now I just need to replicate it with other businesses. And so it's like finding that thing to focus on and putting all your attention into that thing is going to help you grow faster than anything. So if there's anything that you're working on that's like the tech company thing, right? That's like a niche that you're able to lean into and focus on and be that guy. Yep. It's just going to grow. So, very cool. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Where are you heading?
Oh man,
this is totally like contradictory to everything you just said. Like, I don't want to overthink it, or I'll overthink it.
No, I'll just be working for the AI gods, and whatever they tell me to do is, I guess, what I'm gonna have to do.
As we all
no, AI is a real thing, and I think it's on my mind.
Especially in the motion graphics world, man.
Actually, I would disagree. I would say the opposite.
Really?
I would say the live action is a bigger risk than the motion.
Really?
Yep. And I'll tell you why. But so my friend Jared, he's fantastic with technology and AI, and he's always looking into it, and we work together. And he's one of my clients. He's a marketing director, and one of the things that we talk about is, he says, I don't care how good AI gets, I don't want to be making videos. I don't want to do it. He said, I still plan to hire you. I just expect it to be faster and cheaper because you're the one using AI tools.
Yep.
And that was a huge unlock for me, because I don't necessarily love just like sitting and like checking out all the new AI tools.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a little bit like, maybe I'm just a little grumpy that it's coming after my job.
Mr. Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like it's coming whether you want it or not. And I will say that the way that I use it now, because also I'm not really a believer in like, I'm not the purist that refuses to use it because it's going to take over. It's like
a tool.
It's like fighting the internet.
Yeah. I was just going to say that.
I can generate pretty dang good, like stock footage level videos today.
Yeah.
Now, can I create like complex scenes where I no longer have to go shoot? No, but like I can generate quick scenes, and it's not like it's pretty easy to do that.
Yeah.
The reason that I like the tech industry and doing motion design specifically for the tech industry is because it's software and animating it and explaining it in a way that that you would have to understand how to make video to even prompt the AI on what to do and show.
Of course. Yeah.
I think a lot of people could say, well, we need footage of a 40-year-old man driving a truck in the Midwest.
But
they can't say
all the art behind that.
Right. Yeah. But they can't say
50 millimeter, I want warm light, backlit here, keys over here.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
So I think what's going to happen. No, you're good. I think what's going to happen is that, I think the lowest hanging fruit will be taken up by somebody on the marketing team in-house. I think people who want good quality content are still they're going to get to a point where they're going to say, it better be cheaper and faster than it used to be, because we're not going to shoot something.
Someone can do that, right? Mm-hmm. And I agree with you.
Yeah. So I don't know what that timeline is. So for me in 5 years, I don't really know. I'm trying to stay agile all along the way. I don't see a super immediate threat to the type of work that I do, though.
Yeah, and you're positioning yourself in a good place, which is the person between the tech company, the company, and the product.
Yep.
As a producer, especially. And that's exactly what I see. Like, I talked to one of my clients and we're talking about VO3, and even this founder was like, I hate that. It's not genuine. It's not our brand. Granted, the AI can develop your brand and start to learn it, and the way that we would create something. But like you said, it will do that, and it'll just allow us to create faster, test faster.
Mm-hmm.
But there's got to be a human element to it.
Yep.
Everyone says that it won't go away. It's just gonna take some jobs, unfortunately. But then those people, if they do the right thing, they're gonna adapt. They're gonna be agile, and they'll learn how to use it as a tool.
Yeah.
Because dude, already like we're building these systems for these editing systems for these companies that we pump out so many videos, and I'm like, I'll make a loom, dump all my information, throw the transcript into ChatGPT, and it gives me this whole downloadable PDF that I can give to editors.
Yep.
And it's like listening to me talk. That doesn't happen years ago without a lot of time. And so that's just basically affirming what you're saying, that it's just going to allow us to go faster. And I'm trying to keep up and be ahead of it. And ultimately what I think will happen with what I'm doing, my niche as far as editing goes, is that I'm building my brain as far as how I edit into AI. And then there's a lot of knowledge on what's working now in videos that you're going to be able to take that, and it's going to just create a video with someone's footage, because you don't want to generate bullshit testimonials from AI. That's illegal. It's like not ethical. So you still need footage. I just think that everyone can create footage now, that the production side is kind of going to go out, I think.
Yeah.
Like there will still be the you need that, right? It'll be there, but it won't be like it is now, where everyone's trying to create that's kind of opposite of what I just said. Everyone can create their own footage, so you don't need to necessarily hire a production company.
Yeah.
So then it's all about how do you tell that story and generate a video that converts, and AI can learn that. But what I'm trying to do is put our entire system into AI, that it's just going to start pumping out videos fast.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see. But it's always an interesting topic. I think a lot of every guest we've all talked about, we all have different opinions, and it's always just fun to see. And every month it's like, wow, it's changing fast.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It was awesome to hear your journey. Should we do the question? Let's do it. And this is putting you on the spot because you're first person.
I talked about this before, so I'll try and think. You explain it.
Let's give credit to the podcast. What's it called? What is it?
Diary of a CEO.
Diary of a CEO. I loved at the end of the segment, he has the guest answer a question, ask a question for the next guest.
Yep.
And so in the next episode, I do know who it is, but I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, don't tell me.
What kind of a question would you ask this person as a filmmaker? Something that might intrigue other people as you go, and we'll have them answer it. Something that you might want to learn or know.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
It's really putting you on the spot.
No, I think I got something here. Let me. I might have to like talk it out before the question is properly formulated.
100%.
I want to know, what is the most is there a moment where you almost went a completely different direction with your career? Like, is there a time where it was, I'm going to continue this way, or man, I'm pivoting this way? And I want to.
I have that moment. That's a great question. I think everyone does, because that's like the butterfly effect.
Yep.
It's a great question.
Well, and I like to think, like I said, I joined the Army assuming I was going to be a helicopter mechanic and one day be a helicopter pilot for the military. And here I am, doing video production.
My moment was I was on set for Cokeville Miracle as in the camera department, just as an assistant. It was all free, and got to know the DP and the camera, the ACs so well that they gave me a call on the next one, and they said, "Okay, you were only here a few days. We want you on the entire shoot. It's 3 months long, but no pay. But this is kind of what you do. As soon as you get on this show, you're going to work up to AC, and then we all know you want to be a DP." And I was like, all I had to do was say yes, and that would have changed the trajectory of my entire career. But I didn't like the the family life of set life. Everyone you talk to, it's like they're missing out on the birthdays, they're missing out on the holidays. And so I took that, I just straight up said no. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, I'm going down a different route, which is more of the social media, shorter, be in control of my shoots area, which ended up going down a marketing route. But dude, that's a great question. Let's jot that down. Was there a moment that you had in your career that it was this way or that way? So I'll ask that, and I'll let you know what they say.
Yeah, I'll be watching.
That's a great way to end it. Okay, thanks, man. Thanks for being on.
Cool. Thanks for having me.